What's going on, guys? This here is Sick Comics, and today we're going to be talking a little bit about pencil and paper RPGs, what they are, why you should care. But a quick disclaimer, I promise these videos will get a little bit more interesting in the future. Just right now, I have to get out the boring stuff first, but later I'll be able to have like charts and pictures and pretty stuff, and it'll be cool. But for right now, it's just hyperactive me in front of a computer. But on to the main topic, the reason why you're here. Pencil and paper RPGs. Obviously you have some interest in it, or you think it's just some nerd thing, but something has caused you to come check this out. And so I'm going to try and just fill you in a little bit as to what a pencil and paper RPG is, and why you should care, and what you can do with it. So essentially a pencil and paper RPG is really just a board game. The board is customized, it is personal to every single person who plays on it. No two people in the world is going to have the same board to play on, as well as everybody in the world is going to have a different character. I have been playing D&D, but it's a pencil paper RPG just like the other ones. I've been playing Dungeons and Dragons since I was in middle school, which is about I know I'm old. About 9 years ago. I've been playing D&D, and never have I found two people with the exact same character. It's just not going to happen. I'll get more to that later. But essentially, it's just a very customized game. As far as its actual mechanics and how it works, all you got to do to understand it, all you have to do is understand how a video game console RPG works, such as Fallout or World of Warcraft, because they both, believe it or not, work the same way, in that you have your character with a customized set of statistics, such as strength, dexterity, armor, as well as a weapon in most cases. And then you select an action to do. Somewhere along the line, there is a randomization, such as criticals, hits and misses. It's done primarily by random number generation, which in the real world takes place as a dice roll. And then from that roll, your statistics are added to it, and success or failure, and then extent of that success or failure is calculated. And this is in everything in all of the games, from speech successes and failures to combat successes and failures. Both pencil and paper RPGs and modern day video game RPGs work the same way, from the same system which the pencil and paper RPGs started back in the 1970s, before video game RPGs existed. So, that being said, why in the world would anybody want to play a pencil and paper RPG, do math, and there is math, to do math, without, or why not just go play an MMO, or play a single player Fallout? The whole purpose is that video game consoles are, and this is a gamer saying this, video game consoles are limited. There's only so much you can do per video game. It's so limited. And when it comes to a pencil and paper RPG, there is no limit. To be a little bit more specific about something like that, say the one thing that a video game needs to instantly increase its player base, and most people will agree with me on this, is character customization. But even still, some of the best character customization out there is done by the Bethesda company, where, I mean, you have your chin, your nose, eyes, whatever, all of that is customizable, which is really good. That it's great that video games have gotten that far. But pencil and paper RPGs, that limit isn't there. The limit is, I mean, granted, there's only so far you go. There's only certain eye colors you can have. There's only so far out your chin can come, as grossly as that is, and there's only so many hairstyles you can have. You know, and it's just pre-selected, and it's just randomly mixing up these combinations. In a pencil and paper RPG, that limit to what you can and can't have is your own imagination. You can, if you really, really want to, select each and every hair on somebody's arm, or the exact details of a tattoo, per se, or, you know, where each and every hair lines up on the head, or every ring in the eye. Every little friggin' detail, every little anal detail that you can have about your character to make it as customized to you as possible is limited only by your imagination. Even the armor you wear. If you make your own armor, you can decide every little pattern, where every single little ring and strap of leather and picture of a unicorn flying over a rainbow, you can select where any of that is. It's just so amazing the amount of customization there is, and I probably sound like I'm having a brogasm here, but anyway, just bear with me. So, another limit is that there is between video games is the environmental interactions. When you go through a dungeon, you know, you can or you don't have to open a door. You can open a door, you can leave it shut. You can you can go pull a lever, and it's either in the upstate or the downstate. Spring a trap, don't spring it. And then in the pencil and paper world, though, again, those actions have no limit. I mean, if you want to go listen to the door, knock on it, kick it in, all of that is at your disposal. If you want to try the doorknob, just turn the doorknob and stand there. You can do that, and that's not something you can do in a video game very often. As well as, like, interaction, you know, there's a lever. Well, what if instead of going up and pulling it, because that just spells trap, you can try and, like, tie a rock around a rope or something and then throw it and then trigger it that way to keep yourself out of danger. I mean, there's just all these different things. In my years as a dungeon master, playing Dungeons & Dragons, that's the only real one I've got experience with, but playing Dungeons & Dragons as a dungeon master, I've had times where people have made some very, very strange decisions about what they want to make, but they had the freedom to do so. A couple of examples, and tell me a video game where you can do all of this. You tell me a video game where you can do all of this uninhibited. But there was a couple of guys I was playing with where one of them, he walks into a marketplace trying to sell off some gold, trying to gain some investment priorities, which is possible. You can invest in a city, which is cool. But he randomly decides to just, in the middle of a public marketplace with people, he decides, I'm gonna polish my sword in the middle of all these people. And I use the euphemism because I know there's probably young people who are going to see this, and it's, trust me, you don't want to know. It's disgusting. But he sits there, he polishes his sword in front of all of these people, and he succeeds. Because it was possible. Like, there's not a video game, I've never seen a video game where you can do that. It never happens. Or this other guy, this guy, and this is a guy you'll see a testimony from later. I'm not going to tell you which, but you'll see a testimony from him just to kind of put it in this perspective. He was this evil little dude, which was completely his choice. He was walking, they're following these goblin scouts on a cliff face. And these goblins are friendly. They were not trying to hurt him in any way. They were actually helping the team. And this guy just on a random whim just decided to throw a goblin, a quest creature at the time, to throw a goblin off the cliff, and the goblin barely got saved by its master, but he decided to do it, and it was possible. And in video games, if there's a quest character, you can't just huck them off a cliff. You can't just kill them. But in a pencil and paper RPG, you can, because it's just no limit. The only limit is the dungeon master. That's it. And even then, if he's got a memory like I do, just really screwed up, imagination like I do, just a really messed up imagination, there's so little that is not possible. Another thing, and this is really cool, and there's only been one video game to ever come close to this, but it's got some other very severe limitations, is character dialogue. When you're playing a video game, you can only speak to quest characters most of the time in a very organized fashion. Most of the time the computer gives you a list of what you can say. So you can't really say what you want to say sometimes. You can only say what the computer tells you that you can say. And that is a very big limitation. When it comes to a pencil and paper RPG, you can say whatever you want. Every last syllable is your choice. which is what just makes it so cool, because instead of this, you know, impersonal character that gets killed, and I mean, it pisses me off, but I don't care. In a pencil and paper RPG, it's literally me, or my fantasy of myself on this page, what I think of, you know, being, what's my dream. It is this man, and I can make him perform any way I want, do anything that my whim wants him to do, and that is just the coolest thing ever to me, and it should be cool to everybody else. It should be a great reason to give this game a try. Now, of course, I'm just one man speaking. Some of the other things I'll show you here, and they'll be probably down around where the vocab bar is going to be, is testimonies from some of the people I've gamed with in a while, and I'll post them up as I'm talking about them, because I don't want to have to think about which exact ones they are, what their exact wording is. It'll just sort of be there. But here we go. The first guy's testimony. This guy, God bless his soul, he played D&D with me back when I was just starting out as a DM, way back when. I mean, 5-6 years ago. And we only played like 2 or 3 times. That's really it. That's all we did. But he remembers it to this day. He still remembers that. Like, it was just it was a great experience for him, because it was just something, you know, that was just cool. It's a cool game. Another guy, he was pretty adventurous when we were starting out, and he was really heavily into video games with an RPG element. And so when we got into it, when he realized that he could be whatever he wanted to be, he sort of took it and ran with it and fell in love with this character that he had created, because it just allowed him to exercise every little that came up into his head. That's a technical term, by the way. This last guy is he used to be a roommate of mine, and I'm not picking on you, Austin. I love you, I swear. But when I met him, his extent of video game knowledge, what he thought like the 2 best games in the world are, at least what it seemed like, what he thought the 2 best video games in the world were Madden and Halo, and beyond that, he had like no RPG experience, like none. He might have had a little bit in Tiger Woods golf. That was it. And as you can sort of see in this little, it's somewhere right around here, this little testimony box of his, is he thought that it was going to be like this nerdiest game. Like, when I first told him about it, it was really obvious that he was standoffish, like, you know, just, dude, sounds stupid, you know, people are going to make fun of my ass for that. Well, I cursed. We're going to have to do something about that. But I finally just almost had to drag him down. He went down, and we didn't even play the actual game. We just did a learning experience teaching people the combat physics, because that was probably the most important part, or the part that everybody wanted to know about. And he like fell in love with it so fast. I mean, he was there every single time we were playing. Every week he was there with a smile on his face, ready to go. And even after like that first game experience, I walked into our room once, and remember, this guy had only played Madden and Halo. Found him playing Elder Scrolls Oblivion, just because, or what seemed like just because it was an RPG and it was based off of pencil and paper RPGs, and he's just suddenly now he's in love with this whole series, and that's great. That's what this game does to people. So, that being said, give this game a try if you haven't already. Obviously, if you're watching this video, you have some interest, because you're either randomly finding it after searching for something about it, or somebody's directed you here. Give it a shot. I promise you, you might just learn, you might gain something. You might find one of the best better than video game experiences you can ever have as far as gaming goes. Or you might find out that it's not for you. That's fine. But give it a legitimate shot. That's all I ask. Just give it a legitimate try. So that being said, this has been Sit Comics. Please leave questions and comments below. There will be at least one video in the future where I will answer questions, because that's what I'm pretty good at. But only when I have enough content for it. But yeah, questions and comments below. The next video coming out is probably going to be describing describing the different type of characters, like who does what. That way, yeah, you know what? I'll just get into the details then. But basically, it's a yeah, it's gonna be titled like what type of character are you, what type of player are you, something like that. But until that time, this has been Sit Comics, and thank you for watching this video, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye. I gotta drink less coffee.